everyone. Now we will continue to introduce another condition for the inference about the two population. That is when we don't know the mean of the population condition. Okay, so in such conditions, when we don't know the sigma 1 and sigma 2, that is the population mean, are unknown, then we will use the sample standard deviation S1 and S2 to estimate the unknown population standard deviation. And because we don't know the population mean, so we will base on the t-distribution rather than the standard normal distribution to do the hypothesis test. So here we will use an example question from your textbook, that is a Clearwater National Bank. The bank, they have two branches, and they find they would like to study the difference between checking account practice by customers at those two different branch banks. So they do a random sampling, that is a simple random sample of 28 checking account is selected, then the other is 22 checking account is selected. Then you will find the following information, that is for the Cherry Grove, such one they have sample size is 28, and Beachmont is sample size is 22. And the sample mean for the customers in the Cherry Grove is checking account practice for the sample mean is $1,025. And the other for the Beachmont is sample mean is $910. So the standard deviation for the two branches are also different. One is 150, the other is 125. Okay, so we would like to estimate the difference between the mean of the checking account for those two branch banks. So when I ask you such questions, what's the difference between them, you may directly to think about, yes, we can just minus the difference between the mean of the two banks. Okay, the two banks. But don't forget, because it's a random sampling, you get the information from the sample, so it is an estimation. So because of it is an estimation, you cannot just use the difference from the sample to on behalf of the real condition for the population. You have also to consider about the margin of error. Okay, so here we would like to introduce, when you do the interval estimation, that means you will need to get the difference, okay, or the point estimator from your sample, that is S1 bar minus S2 bar. But because it is a random sampling result, it's an estimation, so you still need to consider about the margin of error part. Okay, and because today it is an sample mean sigma 1 and population mean sigma 1 and sigma 2 didn't know. Okay, so you have to use the t distribution rather than the z value, that is the normal distribution one. Okay, but yeah, here we will use the half alpha. Okay, but you will also find the difference for the standard deviation between the S1 bar and S2 bar. That is here you will get the standard error from or the result from your sample, not from your population. So we use S1 and S2. So here when we talk about the t distribution, you have to be careful, because if you check the t distribution table, you will find you need the degrees of freedom for you to check out the real probability or the t value of it. Okay, so if you have software package, it can help you to directly compute out what's the degree of freedom. But if not, you don't have any software package, you can use such formula to calculate out the degree of freedom. So here we can also use the example questions information to calculate the interval estimation for you. Okay, how to provide a 95 confidence interval estimation of the difference between the population mean checking account balance at the two branch banks. So the first one, you will know the information from Cherry Grove, that is your sample size is 28, your sample mean is 1025, and your standard error is 150. The other branch bank, it tell you its sample size is 22, its sample mean is 910, and its standard error is 125. So based on the degree of freedom formula, you can calculate out the degree of the freedom. Yeah, its result is 47.8. So we choose 47 as the degree of freedom for us to check the t-value table. Okay, so we will use 47 as our degree of freedom to find the half alpha of the t-value here. And you know the alpha is 5%, so half alpha is 0.025. So you can check the degree of freedom 47. The p-value is 0.025. To get the t-value is 2.012. Okay, so here you finally can express the interval estimation for the difference of the two branch. That is, you will do the point estimator. Okay, point estimation. That is the difference between the two population. The difference between the two samples. Okay, so you will use the means from the S1 bar minus S2 bar. Okay, and get the margin of error, that is the t-value, okay, from the half alpha multiplied by the standard error of the S1 bar minus S2 bar. Okay, then you will get the result, that is 150 to minus or 878. So here you will find, okay, 78 is the margin of error. So you have 95 confidence interval estimation to say the two population mean that would between 37 to 193. So that's the interval estimation for you to do the difference calculation, okay, to express the difference between the two population. But when you don't know the mean of the population, you use the sample, okay, on behalf of it, and use it to express the result.